There you go, everybody. So, welcome back again for another week. Haven't done a lot yet. A bit more of a bit of an update for me. Anyway, I got a new pair of glasses today, so they are not all scratched and, and beaten to death from the last 4 or 5 years. Heaps better to see. I'm waiting on another pair, which is so these just my normal glasses I'll wear for driving or whatever. But I got a pair. I've got an intermediate pair coming, which will be quite good for just a little bit more fine detail work, or for when I'm welding, just give me that little bit better, just a little bit closer up, so I can see, the puddle a bit better and all that sort of thing. So hopefully I'll be here in another week or so, and I can finish paying for them. But anyway, Dad's been out here today. I tried to get Ed back out here, but I just run around with some bits and pulls and picking these up, and just trying to see if I can sort out some stuff to get some work, like sorting out a I don't know, what do you want, resume, CV, just basically just a list of jobs I've done for the last few years and skills and bits and pieces, just see if I can get some bloody work around here. So I thought I'd better make something up so I've got something to hand out when I go around and knock on a few doors, see if I can get some work in between doing this sort of stuff as well. I don't, even if it's part-time stuff, whatever, I'll take anything at the moment just to get a bit extra income. But anyway, enough about me. I'll flip the camera around and I'll show you, well, what Dad's been up to today anyway. So as far as I know, he hasn't been doing a lot, but he's fixed this. He had a broken off bolt in it, so he's managed to get that out and repair that. I'd seen him earlier on. He actually had got this out and retapped it and put another bolt in there. So that's sort of the main thing. That's the big sort of top part of the radiator. Like, that's a big heavy casting. Like, no wonder that's substantial, because it's got to hold onto this. But anyway, so that's sort of, far as I know, what he's been doing today. I'm not sure if he's done anything else. I'm not 100% sure on that, because he's not here and I can't ask him. He's disappeared for a few hours to do some of the other stuff he does, but it looks like he's had a bit of a clean up around here. That's about all I really know. Yeah, so that's about all I can tell you for the moment. So hopefully tomorrow or something like that, I'll be able to tell you a bit more. Yeah, I think he had the lid off this thing, whatever that is. Who knows? Some of these crazy odd things. But anyway, what else can I tell you? There you go, guys. Just getting some of these parts prepped for this tractor today, so I'm just going to give this a quick DA sand, and then get these corners a bit more prepped where the paint is still on them. Dad stripped it off a fairly long time ago, and that's what it looks like on the inside, so I have to double check to see whether we're painting the inside of this or not. Possibly are. We'll be painting this off the tractor, obviously. It's just lots of these little things that need to be sort of prepped, so I can hopefully paint everything all at once. I don't really want to be mixing. I'm probably going to be mixing different lots of paint anyway, but I don't want to be trying to paint it all on different days if I can get away with it. I'd like to paint it all in one hit and just have this stuff sitting somewhere around the tractor. We'll probably paint it outside as long as this day warms up. It was meant to be reasonably not overcast today, but at the moment it looks like there's a bit of cloud around, so still early in the morning. It's still pretty cool. Basically in the middle of winter. The shortest day was only the other day, but we have been getting into, if we get some good sun, we get into that sort of that 10, 11, 12 degrees, which is probably borderline warm enough, but we should be okay. Like, as long as we can get a couple of this out in the sun for 2 or 3 hours and get enough heat into it, it should be alright, and we'll heat the paint up. We'll stick the tin of paint and bucket of water before we stir it up and mix it up. So hopefully that'll be okay. So yeah, I'll get into doing a little bit of prep on this stuff. I'll probably pull the fuel tank off and get that a bit more prepped. I'll talk to Dad before I clean up the ends of it where it's got some sign writing on the end. I'll just see what he wants to do with that before we're going to take some photos of that and make sure we know where that's going, or whether he's got new stickers or whatever we're doing there. I just don't want to tear into that before I know exactly what's going on. But anyway, I'll crank up this DA sander and give this a quick scuff over. I've already given it a rub by hand with some 80 grit, but I'll just give it another good key over, because the fuel tank in this were remade on this old tractor, and when they repainted it, I don't know how many years ago, the paint's sort of fallen off. It's never bitten into the steel very well, so I'll give it a fairly good key up with some 80 grit, and then I might run over it with a bit of 240 just to take the worst of the roughness out, but I just want to get a good bite into this metal. So here we go. Try that again and make sure this compressor kicks on this time. I don't know why it wouldn't kick on before. But anyway, actually before I I'll just show you what I'm doing. Right, so you can see this bit I just quickly ran over before the compressor wouldn't kick in. You can see that's got quite a swirly scratch in that now, whereas before it was like that. But yeah, give you a quick shot of the fuel tank, and you'll sort of see, like, I don't know, it's just, this paint's just flaking off. Like you can scratch it off your finger. It's never taken very well. These are the stickers I was talking about. I want to make sure Dad's got measurements of these and all that sort of stuff, and we'll take some photos before I deal to that. I don't want to take any of that off and not be sure that he's got everything. Same with this stuff. This will have to all come off. That won't take much to get off. We'll pick the rest of it off, and I'll just run over it with a bit of 240 or something. There'll be a few spots in this like it needs a quick rub off. Might just have to go over it with a bit of a Scotch-Brite, and we'll give it a wipe down with some prep sole. Do the best what we can, get into where we can. We're not going to get into every little nook and cranny on this thing. There's just too many holes and voids, but we'll do the best we can with a major part of it, and hopefully that acid wash has given the rest of it a good enough key that we'll get a good bite. The paint we're using's fairly good too, like it'll bite into most things, being a sort of like a semi-commercial paint. So the trucks I've painted, like that's all we've done. We've just acid washed them off, pressure washed them off, and just done any really bad bits that needed cleaned up, and just sprayed them, and never had any problems. So yeah, I'll get back to doing this. Yeah, what this has been had red oxide primer on it or something like that before. Like this is obviously bitten better than that did, but still not very good. But the steel's never been really hooked into first before they've put each primer on it or undercoat or anything like that, so it's never bitten. It was shiny steel on this one before we took the paint off originally. So I gave it a light scuff before, and then I was just hitting it with a DA with 80 grit just to really give a decent bite into the metal and just clean up any little last flakes of paint that are floating around. And then we'll prep sole it, and I might give it a quick rub over with some 240 as well, just to take the worst of the roughness of the 80 grit off. But I just want to get a decent key on this steel first. close enough in the meantime. I'll get something else sorted and then just see where Dad wants to head with something too, because I don't want to make all the final decisions because I'm not the one that's responsible for the job, if you know what I mean. So I'll start having a bit look around this thing, because I noticed in a couple of places it's been a couple of days since we've done this, and there's this odd little spot where it's a bit raw with the steel that's a little bit of flash rusting, which is not ideal. But yes, unfortunately it's just the nature of this time of year and bits and pieces, and just being able to get the right day to paint it without leaving it too long. But we should be all good. Hopefully I should better just go over some of these odd little spot and give it a clean up. Most of it's right. But yeah, alrighty guys, I'll clean up some more and we'll come back to you later. Cheers. If you're wondering, I actually just had a comment on my last little video of getting basically saying that we're going to paint this thing today. If you want to know what the rubber is on these wheels, it's made by Bandag, which is a retread company here in New Zealand and Australia. I'm not sure about anywhere else in the world. I don't know if, but that's the part or the tread number. It's made by Bandag, so that's all it is. They've rolled truck retread down there before, basically the cap before it's glued onto a truck. So that's all they've done. They've just rolled this around on these things and glued it on somehow. Would have been done probably by Bandag, I'm guessing, maybe, don't know, before my time, my time with the tractor anyway. And the reason I know that is because this is the sort of thing that I've dealt with for a long time, these Bandag tyres. So yeah, they make big huge rolls of this and then they glue it onto a tyre afterwards. So that's what this is, if you want to know. For point of reference, this is how bad this paint is stuck on here. It's just falls off. It's pretty piss poor. You can see like it's almost had no prep beforehand. I reckon they've just had it made and it's just been sprayed. Like it hasn't even been, well, it might have been sanded, but by the looks of that, I don't think so. Like, I would never use like brand new steel and not at least DA with, you know, like 80 grit or something like that, which is what this is, which is that stuff that Dad bought a while ago in that yellow box. I'd at least DA the panel, all the new steel with that before I painted it, or put any paint product near it, whether it was etch or just primer or whatever, you know, to get your initial surface on, so, or your initial coat on. So yeah, we'll get that cleaned up next, I guess. Barely attached. I said it's barely attached. So how you going, guys? Hopefully you can hear me over the top of Dad using the wire wheel. I'm just trying to get this little dent out here. That was just wee mark through here, punch back. So I've just been working it back with this little ball hammer, slightly smaller one on one end than the other. And I'm just holding a dolly on the outside and just trying to tap it back, and then using the old panel file, so I can do this with one hand and holding the phone. to get this panel a little better. So I'm just trying to see if I can get rid of those marks out of it before I get it etched and primed and painted. Basically gone now. You can barely see just some little dimples that hopefully will be taken up by paint. So I'm just going to give this edge a tidy up now. So we can do something with that. Alright, back to you shortly. So that's basically prepped now. You would have seen that I diagrammed this hole. There was a few spots. It's not dead perfect yet either, but it had some quite little flat spots in it. So I just went around it and just tried to round it out a little bit better, so it looked a little bit nicer. Fold these edges to try and just bring them down so they're a little bit flatter with the rest of it, with the rolled edge and everything. Same along here, because Dad hammered that down the other day to get this all sitting a bit more level when it's more back up on there. Or, you know, the tank and everything's back on to make this a little bit more level. He hammered this back edge down a bit, and it sits closer to the bonnet. or to the fuel tank. So yeah, and I've knocked those couple of dents out wherever they were. I'd have to have a look on the inside to see where they were now. I think it might have been this bit. Yeah, there. Just this one, just tiny little mark that. But hopefully by the time we put a couple of coats of primer on there before we blow some paint on it, and just give it a wee quick sand, it'll be pretty nice. Like these things were never. They were industrial machines. They weren't cars, so they were never, you know, blocked to perfection like modern stuff is. They were pretty much slapped together and painted to protect them and make them last, but you know, we'll get it pretty reasonable. We'll get a couple of coats of primer, give it a rub back with probably some 320 or something like that, or maybe 400. So at least with these bits, they're a little bit nicer than the war old cast and stuff like that. At least the tins will be fairly nice. So yeah, that's pretty much all ready to go. Inside of it's all giving it a quick scuff back. Might just double check it before we when we go back through everything, just make sure everything is right. But for now I'm pretty happy with that. So I'll get onto this tank and get it a bit more prepped than it was, and hopefully the paint sticks to it this time. Not that I painted it last time, but paint definitely wasn't sticking. Well, when Dad was running that white wheel over, it was just spitting chunks off everywhere, so what was left, so it came off within a few minutes. So I'll shut this down now. I'll swap these over, get into this tank, give it a decent run over with the 80 grit, and yeah, that'll probably be it, I guess. And we'll just give it a really good hard scuff back. Wish I had a wee bit more air, and just struggle with that bloody thing. You know, probably if I had a tank twice as big, it'd be good, but it'll be fine for blowing some paint on it. Righty, I'll get back to you shortly. Righty, on to this fuel tank. Got a suspicion these ends are original, but the centre, like the main part of the tank's been remade. Dad's just running a wire wheel over some of the flaky edges, and I'm trying to get this cleaned up. Horrible bloody thing. That's what it did to the first pad I had on here, but it's like it's never been prepped or cleaned before they painted it last time, because the paint just fell off it. Don't know if you can see this or not, but you can see where the original writing was on the tank from a long time ago. There you go, guys. So, a wee bit of a progress on today's proceedings. We're almost prepped with this thing. We would have liked to have painted it today, but we just didn't have enough heat in the day. It was sort of overcast a lot of day for about an hour or so. The sun came out, but it just, if we had probably sun it all day and had this sitting out, we would have got a bit of temperature in the metal. But it's just with no sun, it was sort of too low. We'd like to get above 10 degrees C in the actual air temperature, just to get a bit of extra warmth into the steel, so it's just not quite so bloody cold. And unfortunately, we've got no heat source in here, so it's not as though we can heat the shit up and warm the steel up. But I've got these etched, got it etched underneath. I just didn't get a chance to do the underside. Etched that air cleanery thing, pipe. But yeah, tomorrow or maybe the next day, depending, because I do have to go do more stuff in the morning. Thursday's my normal day for doing bits and pieces when we get paid, and bits and pieces I've got to go pay some more on extra glasses that I'm getting that'll better use for welding and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll hopefully tomorrow at some point I'll flick a little bit more etch on some of these bits, and some of the bare areas that Dad's attacked with the wire wheel and the grinder, and just gone over a lot of the stuff that was sort of like here and flaky and bits and pieces. We'll try to run over a lot of that sort of stuff as much as we can, and bring it back so it's a reasonable surface and not got a hard edge on it. Cleaned it all up, so we'll flick a little bit of etch. Missed a bit of etch around the stuff in the morning where we need to. We're going to get a couple of Scotch Brite pads and just run over the rest of what we can get into. Just to take any last shine off anything, and we'll give it a decent blow down, and then hopefully we'll be ready to go. We just didn't quite get there today, but I'd had to go do parent-teacher interviews for the young fellow at school. Sort of before we were sort of knocked off, I've lost about an hour of the day. Might have got a little bit further. But basically everything went good, as you've seen, got all that stuff all cleaned up. So yeah, we're just going to whip the stickers off of the back of here tomorrow, all those sorts of things. Yeah, so we'll be really close, like another day or two, depending on the weather. We'll have paint on this thing, which is good, and then we can put it back together and we can get it out of here. So yeah, I used my DeVilbiss gun. So it's the first time I've sprayed with it. Seems to spray good. This is the etch we used today. So it's just single stage. Just mixed it up, just a wee splash of with just general purpose thinners, and it sprayed really nice. I did contemplate using that one just to keep that clean for paint, but I run a wee bit of thinners through that just in case. I didn't like how that, or couldn't get used to how that spray for a start off, just with the lack of time and sort of sun we've had today. But I noticed this was it's just dripping. So I might have to pull that down a bit further and just double check, make sure it's not a seal gone hard or something like that. Yeah. The other thing too is, like, I possibly could have used this, but I think with being 1.8mm and set up for high build, I think it might have been a bit extravagant to use that, because my other gun's 1.3, so. But yeah, look, hopefully another, yeah, I don't know if we'll get it painted tomorrow, but if Friday's good for sun, and we can get it outside and get a, you know, 2 or 3 hours of sun warmth on it, and then hopefully get a couple of coats of paint on it. Sort of, I don't know, probably 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's sort of just that peak temperature. We might be right. So that's the plan for the next couple of days. We'll just have to play it by ear and see how the weather goes. We're not really expecting any rain, but it's just to get those 3 or 4 hours of sun, poke it out the door, and get some sun on it, and just to get that real cold out of the steel. Hopefully, it's a bit harder with big heavy cast, but it's not like panel steel on the car where it warms up a bit quicker. But if we can get some, just get that low temperature out of it, that'll make all the difference. So yeah, I'll keep you posted. I'll try not to make this whole video too long, but it's going to be what it is, because I want to try and get this next video with paint, painting. So unless I make it make it for the next one, but I was hoping to get painting footage on this, but I didn't do any footage of me spraying that because I didn't have enough time, and I was trying to get that painted while we had a wee bit of sun, and the temperature come up on them a little bit. But yeah, this needs to be out in the sun for probably 3 or 4 hours. You know, sort of early morning, get it out there probably. If we can get some sun in here, we'll get some reasonable sun about 9 o'clock or something like that, get it pushed outside, and hopefully by sort of 1, past 1, something like that, or 2 o'clock-ish, we've got enough heat, just sun heat in this, that it's not too cold to touch, and we can blow it on. The etch won't be quite so critical, but the main paint just would like that little bit of temp in it, so that paint will stick. Righty, I'll leave it at that for now, and yeah, hopefully you'll see some paint on this thing in the next day or two. Righty, cheers. The other thing too is, if you want a 57 Chev, or a chance to win a 57 Chev, go over and watch DD's Speed Shop there in Canada. They've just picked up another 57 4-door, which he was going to turn into a 2-door, but in amongst trying to find some doors to convert it to a 2-door, he found a 56, so he's now got a 56 and a 55. We had a 57 and a 55 2-door, and now he's got a 56, so he doesn't really need the other 4-door. But what he's going to do is he's going to go through, get it all running, get it all sweet, fix any other issues in it. I think he's got to repair some floor pans and stuff, bits and pieces like that. But he's just done a video, he's got the motor running and everything like that, so you go over and check that out, subscribe to him and everything like that. So when he hits 57,000 subs, which is about another 20,000 subs odd, he's going to give away that car, so that'll give him plenty of time to do a bit of work on it. Unless for some miracle he happens to get another 20,000 subs in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, go over and watch, I think it's Dan and Danny, or Daniel, or whatever it is. Sorry if I got it wrong, guys, if you're watching this. But yeah, go over and watch them. So yeah, DD's Speed Shop in Canada. Yeah, so they're giving away a sort of like a pinky red 57 4-door. Whether it stays a 4-door or not, I don't know, because he was contemplating turning it into a 2-door. But yeah, all good. That'll do in the meantime. So if I get any more done, I'll let you know. Cheers.